Greetings, students. This week we're going to discuss specifics concerning your educational journey by looking at your degree plan and your college plan here at STC, and we're also going to talk about STC's divisions and departments. From the catalog, you can access another incredibly important document called your degree plan. Simply look at the table of contents to find your major. However, let's begin by defining what is meant by the term degree plan. At STC and any other college and university you attend or you transfer to, you will follow a document called a degree plan for your particular selected major. Once you declare what your major is, your degree plan is set. What it is a plan or a guide which maps out what classes you take, both those that are required and those that you get to choose, and approximately when you take those classes for that specific major. It's very important that once you have declared a major that you follow the degree plan to the letter. You need to stay on track because you don't want to take courses that fall outside of your degree plan. If you take classes outside of your degree plan, it will take you additional time and money to complete your degree. Here on this page is an example of what a degree plan looks like. In this case, one for the major of sociology. Now you can remember I said a degree plan tells you approximately when to take courses. You can move classes around time-wise as long as there are no prerequisites to get into a class. That means that you can't take this so-and-so class until you've taken this other so-and-so class. But for example, if you want to take Sociology 2319, which is recommended second semester, first semester, and you want to take Sociology 1301, which is recommended first semester, second semester, you can. And yet we need one more document to help us understand our degree plans a bit better. If you turn to pages 86 to 91 in your STC catalog, you'll find a section called the Core Curriculum. Go ahead and print out those pages for your own review. These pages are extremely important and they're going to help you figure out and understand your degree plan better. So what exactly is this thing called the Core Curriculum? I know it's a little long and tedious, but let's directly read what it is, and then on the other side, I'll summarize it for you. It's just too critically important not to read it in its entirety. All right, so we're reading together. The core curriculum at South Texas College has at its foundation the philosophy and purpose of the college and is a composition of general education courses which form the foundation of all Associate Arts and all Associate Science degrees. These are degrees that are designed for students who plan to continue their education at a four-year university in order to earn a Bachelor of Fine Arts, a Bachelor of Arts, or a Bachelor of Science degree. STC is committed to the preparation of intellectually flexible, creative, and productive citizens. Through exposure to a varied range of disciplines and technologies, students will develop 1, an understanding of the importance of lifelong learning, 2, broad global and social perspectives, and 3, essential skills for tomorrow's workforce. The purpose of the core curriculum is to gain a foundation of knowledge of human cultures and the physical and natural world, develop principles of personal and social responsibility for living in a diverse world, and advance intellectual and practical skills that are essential for all learning. There are core objectives, which are critical thinking, communication, empirical and quantitative, teamwork, personal responsibility, and social responsibility. Okay, we've read it. Basically, what does that mean? The core curriculum is what every student who is pursuing either an Associate of Arts or an Associate of Science degree must take. It's the Gen Ed courses, the general education courses you're required to take. By taking those specific courses, you're getting the necessary skills, knowledge, and perspectives required of all college educated individuals. It's the foundation of knowledge necessary to be considered college educated. And these courses, of course, help prepare students who are transferring to four-year institutions to pursue their bachelor's degrees. Now let's get back to the actual degree plan. And I'm going to be using sociology that you see on the screen as an example. So when you look at the degree plan, one of the first things you'll notice is that some of the classes are listed very specifically for you. You can tell that because there is a course number there. We'll talk more about course numbers next week, but for now, know that a course number is made up of 4 letters and 4 numbers, and it identifies a course. On this degree plan, course numbers include History 1301, English 1301, Sociology 1301, History 1302, English 1302, Sociology 2319, and so forth. What that means is that you must take any of the courses that have been listed and identified by the course number. You have no options. They are required, and they may either part of the core curriculum requirements or your degree or your major's requirements. Now, just as an aside, pay close attention to the course numbers because they tell you some critical information. The first number is in the course number. It tells you the level of the class. Zeros are developmental courses. 1 are freshman and 2 are sophomore courses. If you transfer to a four-year university, you'll see 3s for junior level classes and 4s for senior level classes. The second number in the course number for academic classes, remember academics start with a 1 or 2, not a 0, that tells you how many credit hours a class is. So English 1301 course, that's a 3 credit hour class. If you keep looking at the degree plan, you'll notice some of the lines don't have a course number next to them. It just reads something like Social and Behavioral Science elective from the core curriculum, or Language, Philosophy, and Cultural elective from the core curriculum, and so on. So what's that all about? This is where you go to your catalog that we got before. You go to your catalog to the core curriculum pages we talked about, 86 to 91. Whatever elective from the core curriculum is mentioned, you turn to that section in the catalog to find the list of possible choices of classes you can pick from. So instead of your being required to take one class that is listed by a course number on the degree plan, you're allowed to pick from a range of courses listed. And of course, more choices, always a good thing. Let's take an example. According to the degree plan, a sociology major needs a 3 credit hour social and behavioral science elective from the core. Turn to page 89, where it reads Social and Behavioral Sciences, and pick the class you want from a range of classes which include anthropology, criminal justice, economics, government, history, psychology, sociology, social work, and child growth and development. In other words, anytime you have an elective from the core listed with no course number, you get to go to the catalog and select the class you want to take from the possible awesome options. Keep in mind that your specific degree plan might have a listing of what they recommend that you do for that major. You also see on this degree plan that your major usually has a field of study elective. Here you need to look in the catalog for your own major's degree plan to find your options for that field of study. For sociology, we'd look on page 194. Lastly, I want to mention 2 terms you might come across in the degree plan: prerequisites and co-requisites. Prerequisites are requirements before you get into a specific class. So in order to take Calculus 2, you have to have college algebra first. And co-requisites are classes that you can take together at the same time. So what I'm showing you students here is actually for education majors, because my department's the Department of Education, so I want to show that, but in reality this is true for no matter what your major is. So when you look at your degree plan here at STC and it gives you those course numbers, those 4 letters and those 4 numbers, you're required to take those courses. But where it says that you have options that you can choose from the core curriculum of a course number, there's usually a listing at STC of items that you can take that if you finish and you take that course, you'll graduate from STC. However, if you're planning on transferring to another institution, for example, our education majors a lot of times transfer to, as you can see, UTRGV. Sometimes they transfer to Texas A&M University Kingsville, and of course other colleges. But you can see on the screen that I've highlighted, I've starred in blue, some options that students should consider when they're here at STC, because when you transfer to those other schools, they're going to want that course. So for example, let's just scroll down to the very last one, right? In the second year spring semester, it's students have an option of which of these courses to take here at STC. But UTRGV wants the student to take Econ 2301 or Psych 2301 or Soc 1301, whereas A&M Kingsville wants Psych 2301 or Soc 1301. So if that student at STC have taken Economics 2301 and they're planning on transferring to Texas A&M Kingsville, they will have to retake the course because that college wants Psych or Soc. So I just want you guys to be aware of the fact that even though you'll graduate from STC following our degree plan, you do have to have an awareness of the schools that you're transferring to just to protect you a little bit. You'll still graduate from STC, you'll still get into those colleges if you follow their requirements, but you may have to retake courses, which is additional time and money, and you don't want to do that. So if you plan enough ahead and you know what the degree plans at those transfer institutions recommend and require, then you can plan what you're doing here at STC a little bit better. You also have another amazing tool available to you called DegreeWorks. DegreeWorks does the following things. It provides real-time advice and counsel. It speeds your time to graduation. It streamlines the graduation process. And it allows direct access to multiple related service and advice through hyperlinks to the catalog, class schedules, and frequently asked questions. So what I want you to do is I want you to go to that link that I've provided on the screen and watch the video that you see there called the DegreeWorks Just Graduated promo. I also want you to watch the 3 video tutorials on the right-hand side called DegreeWorks Overview, how to use the What If feature, and how to use the Educational Planner. All of these tools are going to help you as you take classes every semester. They're going to help you monitor your progress. They're going to help you take new classes and plan for future semesters until you make it to graduation.